it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to share your feelings and struggles with, people you trust and that you love, friends and family members, because being vulnerable is going to help you foster those deep connections and open the door to receiving that support.
What is up, Impact Heroes? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Rick Ornelas. Thank you for spending some time with us today because we know time's a valuable resource and we're going to make it worth your while. I appreciate each and every one of you, not just for listening, but for who you are. I know you're sparking change to make the world a better place every day, and I am humbled and grateful for your efforts. It takes all of us doing our part to spread positive change, and that's what this show is all about. Motivating you with stories of struggle, courage, and hope to empower you to make a difference in your life and the lives of others.
Are you interested in having Rick speak at your event or business? Here is what others have to say.
Did not know his story, and it was so inspirational, and his presence on stage, his authenticity was just incredible.
Absolutely loved his performance. It made me feel some type of way.
If you're looking for a speaker for your next event, hire Rick. I promise you this, you will not be disappointed.
Visit rickornelas.com to book him today.
Welcome back, Impact Heroes, to the latest edition of I Spark Change Through. Now, our goal with these episodes is to feature all the different ways that ourselves and others spark change to make the world a better place through social impact and positive change. Now, we found over the past few years that there are endless ways to positively impact others each day. And the response to this segment has been extremely positive. So we're continuing on with it. We've had episodes on sparking change through fitness, adventure, mind, body, spirit, volunteering, to name a few. And so on that note, I have a question for you. How do you spark change? Well, I want to hear your answers on social media, so please be sure to share those with us. Now, one of the ways that we spark change here at I Spark Change, and I'm sure a lot of you do too, is through mental health awareness. Now, mental health issues affect us all, whether we deal with them ourselves or have a friend or family member who does. And I know that's the case for me, that I know a lot of people have been affected by mental health, including yours truly. And I'm sure that's the case for every single one of us listening, because statistically speaking, that is the case. So we felt that it was important to dedicate an episode to helping you have an understanding of mental health, greater awareness of mental health, and to allow you to help spark change through that awareness of mental health and to help others that are dealing with mental health. So this presentation is dedicated to everyone who has ever experienced mental health issues or knows someone who has. Now, it doesn't matter if you're a Gen Z, a millennial, Gen X, baby boomer. I hope this episode resonates with you and helps you to gain a deeper understanding of mental health and the healing process. Now, mental health is complex, right? It's multifaceted and it affects each person in unique ways. But I think it's important that we all remember that, the journey to mental wellness is a continuous process, and it takes time, a lot of patience, a lot of self-compassion, because we're emotional beings, right? Human beings are emotional beings, and those emotions can fluctuate, sometimes experiencing lots of highs and lots of lows. And that is entirely normal and part of the healing journey. So let's get a better understanding of mental health with a basic definition that we'll use for our purposes today, okay? So mental health refers to our cognitive, emotional, and social well-being. It affects how we think, how we feel, how we act, and those all play a crucial role in our ability to cope with stress, to build healthy relationships, and to make decisions. Mental health is essential at every stage of life, from childhood to adulthood, and it can affect you at different times, along the way. Now, it's crucial to recognize that it is a spectrum, okay? And that any of us are going to fall somewhere on this spectrum, on this continuum, at different points, because no one is immune to mental health issues. And we all experience various levels of stress, anxiety, and emotional pain throughout our lives. Now, for today, we'll focus on two of the most common, anxiety and depression, because those are by far the most common mental health issues out there. And those are experienced across generations, like I said earlier. I mean, I've seen it affect teens, seniors, even younger kids, even like tweens. And, in fact, Gen Z is one of the most widely affected generations when it comes to anxiety and depression, at the present time. Now, both of those can manifest in lots of different ways. Now, I've personally been affected by anxiety on, different occasions. I mean, most notably in 2020, when the pandemic started and I found myself isolated and out of work and unsure of the future, like I was pretty anxious, and it was a difficult time. But, luckily I was able to come out of that and, get to a better place. And, that's not always the case for everybody. And sometimes it's a struggle, because in most situations, anxiety and depression will leave you feeling overwhelmed, isolated, and hopeless. And that's exactly how it was for me. So I think it's important that we understand what both of these look like, so you can help spot, when someone's having an issue, whether it be a friend or family member, loved one. Now, anxiety is characterized by excessive worry or fear that can interfere with daily activities. It may present as like generalized anxiety disorder, or panic disorder, or social anxiety disorder, or even specific phobias. But it's going to be really different in everyone. On the other hand, depression, that's more of a mood disorder that causes persistent feelings of sadness, hopelessness, and a lack of interest or pleasure in activities that were once enjoyed. And that's where you might see someone that really loves doing something, and all of a sudden they don't feel like doing it, and they're just kind of blah and meh all the time. And if that persists, I mean, they may be depressed. But the good news is there's lots of help. There's different ways to take that journey to overcoming anxiety and depression, and that's going to be unique for every individual. It may involve therapy or medication or lifestyle changes, or things like neurofeedback, or or meditation, or different types of modalities, or maybe even a combination of all those approaches. But it's always essential to remember that healing does take time, and it's okay that you feel a mix of emotions when you're going through the process, or that you have an understanding of the person, your loved one, what they're going through, that they feel are going to feel a mix of emotions. And, it's going to be different depending on their specific day. So when dealing with mental health issues, it's essential just to know that healing process is going to be a roller coaster, man. It's going to be a roller coaster of emotions. There's going to be moments when you feel progress has been made, and then others when it feels like you're taking a step back, or your loved one is in that situation. And just know that this is entirely normal. And, if you are going through this healing, then know that it's important to be patient with yourself. Accept that ups and downs are part of the journey. Recognize that growth and progress aren't always linear, right? That it's okay to feel that wide range of emotions that we all feel as human beings, and that you might have some really high highs and some really low lows, and even within a single day, even within an hour. And, just knowing that is part of the process. I want to make sure that this really serves, all of you that are listening in the audience. So I'm going to wrap up with 5 tips on, supporting mental health, whether it's your own or in a loved one. First is to seek professional help. If you or someone is struggling with mental health issues, then seeking professional help is vital, because that professional can provide guidance, support, and tools to help navigate that journey to wellness that you won't know on your own, or that they won't know on your own. Family members are great and can be supportive, but look for a professional. 2 is establish a support system. So that's where the family and friends come into play, because you want to surround yourself with people who genuinely care about you, people that understand your struggles, people that can provide that emotional support, that you can have open communication, because that's going to help reduce those feelings of isolation and loneliness. 3 is to prioritize self-care. Now, this is a trendy word, trendy phrase that you hear out there, self-care this and self-care that, but it is essential for mental health. So you're going to want to make time for activities that bring you joy, that bring you relaxation, that bring you that sense of accomplishment. For one person that may be exercise. For another person, it's going to be a hobby. It might be playing video games. It might be mindfulness practices. It may be meditation, maybe spending time in nature. which is what I love. But, figure out what's going to be the self-care things for you. And then you're going to want to set realistic goals. You're going to want to break down the bigger goal of like, hey, I just want to get back to normal, right? You want to break that down into smaller, achievable steps of, having a good day, for example, and then a good week and so on, because this is going to help build that sense of accomplishment, boost your self-esteem, and reduce those feelings of overwhelm. So you see that, hey, I'm making some progress, right? You're on the right path. A 5 is going to be to practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Remember that healing is going to take time, like I said. So acknowledge that you may have a setback, but that's okay. That's part of the journey. And you're going to want to treat yourself with the same kind of kindness and understanding you would offer a friend. And if you are taking care of a friend, give them kindness and help them through that. So, I will give you a couple bonus tips because I think these are important. Is that, part of providing this episode is so we can all educate ourselves, because if you can understand it better and the resources available, then you're going to be able to help someone. So that'd be a tip just for anyone, right? Is to be informed and understand, so you can be empowered and have an understanding. And then, the next tip I'd say is just to learn that and I've learned this in my journey for sure, and you've seen this on this podcast and heard it on this podcast, it's okay to be vulnerable. And it's okay to share your feelings and struggles with, people you trust and that you love, friends and family members, because being vulnerable is going to help you foster those deep connections and open the door to receiving that support. So if you're feeling isolated, you're feeling you're alone, I've been there, know that you're not, right? And know that these people love you, they care for you, and they do want to help you, and they're going to be there to support you. But you're going to have to open up to them. So you are going to have to be vulnerable. And so, to sum it all up, I just say, know that mental health, it's complex. It's an ongoing journey. It affects everyone, regardless of age or background. You're going to have to be patient, empathetic, and understanding towards yourself and to others as you navigate, the challenging terrain ahead to get through it and to move forward. And again, remember that there's going to be ups and downs, right? That's part of the healing process. There's no shame in finding help or support. Prioritize that self-care, build that strong support system, and practice that self-compassion so you can create an environment that's going to be conducive to your healing and growth, or to that for your loved one. So that's all I got for today. I hope that was beneficial. Thank you for joining me on today's, special and important episode. I hope the information that I shared has resonated with you, provided some insight into the complexities of mental health, and it's going to help you, either in your journey or in the journey of a loved one. Remember, whether it's you or someone else, you're not alone, right? There is hope. You can get through it. I promise you. So I'd love to hear how mental health has affected you. So please share with us on social media some of the different ways, challenges you've had. Be vulnerable, share how you've gotten through it. We'd love to hear it. And we'll put some of the tips. We'll put those in the show notes and make sure you have access to that. So thank you all for listening today. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time on the iSpark Change podcast. Take care, Impact Heroes.
Remember, Impact Heroes, every positive action can be a spark moment that has a ripple effect that spreads far beyond the initial act. So go out there and spark change. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode, then please smash that 5-star rating on iTunes or Spotify and leave a review. We value your comments and we want to hear from you in the community. Thank you for listening. God bless you, and we'll see you next week on the iSpark Change podcast.